Why hello and welcome back to another episode of Voice of the Rings. I am your hosting guy, Zollin Ironshield. Alright guys, so today I want to give you a little update on the channel. I also want to talk about something that's kind of important, and I want to just do a quick little thing here at the beginning. I love the YouTube platform. I really enjoy it a lot. It's the best one out there from what I'm seeing, and they do a good job for creators and setting up how you could do things and all this kind of stuff. But today, and by the way, a couple of the real people I talked to were extremely nice. But pretty much what I want to tell you about today is kind of how the AI kind of wronged me a little bit in one area, and really nobody could do anything to help me out on this, okay? So again, just want to get that out there that I really like YouTube. This is not me attacking YouTube. I want to just give some critiques, all right? I'm just going to give some critiques that if any of you, YouTube, if any of the staff see this or something, I'd love it if you guys could reach out to me and talk about this. I would be totally down. I want to just give some ideas. And in fact, the real person I talked to actually sent some of these ideas up, they said, to the next people, which is great, all right? But I need to start with the story. So now that I get that out of the way, and by the way, thank you to all of my subscribers who have been really awesome about this on Discord, and some of my other YouTuber friends who have kind of reached out with me and kind of helped me feel like, oh yeah, we understand that completely what happened. So anyway, you need to know the story first on what happened, okay? So if you watch this whole thing, wonderful. If you don't want to, I totally understand. I will still be here, don't you worry. I'm staying on the channel, there's nothing wrong. I don't want anyone to feel stressed if you saw my community posts. I was really good in what I wrote, but I don't want anyone to feel like I'm being here, nothing's affected my channel, everything's fine. The situation, nothing affects it, and YouTube reassured me that this does not affect my channel in any way for this thing that happened. But it a little feels bad when you're like kind of wronged, and you know, they're like, oh, well, I want to fix your channel, don't worry about it, but at the same time, it kind of already happened, so it still makes you feel like, oh, you're like, blame me for something I didn't do wrong. And I will prove to you in this video right now why what I did was completely legal and good. So let's talk about it right now anyway. The main story, so we'll start with the fact that it was one of my videos about helping you guys know how to download and install the Battle for Middle-earth. Now, if you'd like to help with those guides, I remove the guides because I don't want the AI to tag any of those videos, so I just remove them off my channel. And to be courteous to YouTube, if that is something in their terms and service, which again, I would have known either way, but I still think it doesn't fall under that same category, okay? And let me explain. You need to know the whole story first. So anyway, if you do want to see those guides on how to set up the Battle for Middle-earth, since you can no longer get it, it's not a game that's supported, sold, and the people who originally had the license no longer have it, I will prove all that right now in this video. But you can go on my Rumble page, which I really enjoy YouTube more. It's a lot more convenient and stuff, but I put it over there, so you can go check that out if you want. That's always in the description. My other social media is down there. All right, so here's the story. Here's what happened. I was very happy doing my videos, and I was off and I finished some videos, and this video, mind you, had been up already for a whole entire month, okay? This video that's been up, it was a video for how to download the first Battle for Middle-earth game, where you can find it, how to download it, since it hasn't been available for 15 years and supported, right? So it's no longer, and the people who originally had the license don't have it anymore, so that's why they can't sell it anymore, the company that made it originally. So what happened is I made this video, right? So that you guys do stuff, and here's the whole story that went down, all right? I'm literally in my kitchen making cookies for the family, of all things. I haven't made cookies in like 3 years, but it was a good day. I was having fun. It was a nice day. Then I got an alert on my phone saying that one of my videos had been tagged, all right? And I'm going to tell you the whole story, and then I'm going to tell a couple of recommendations that I have for YouTube, how they can make this better for all creators and stuff, and then also what I learned for any other YouTubers out there that might want to know this stuff, because this is kind of important. I got a tag saying that one of your videos had been flagged and been brought down, right? And that it broke the community guidelines, okay? Which, by the way, I went and read all the community guidelines, and I don't think it fits under it anyway. But that's okay. You know, I'm not a lawyer. But basically what happened was I was very surprised because the video had been up for a month. I'm like, oh, okay. And then on my phone, I highly recommend this. I'll say this at the end too, but don't do things on the phone because it didn't really give a lot of options. So it said you can appeal this. And I was like, okay, well, I do want to appeal it. And when I tried to appeal it on the phone, it said you could do 100 letters, okay? It's not really a whole lot you can write in 100 letters. It's like a sentence and a half. So I put a little information there, and it said it gave me an email and said they'll be back 24 hours from now to do it, to check on it for you. And by the way, the thing that was put on the channel was a warning. It was technically what they do before they put a strike on a channel. If you're a YouTuber, you know what that is. Again, I was very surprised because I've always been so conscientious about following the guidelines on YouTube, and I have a perfect record on the channel, right? Which is another thing I'd really love it if YouTube would have looked and said, oh, this person has a perfect 2.5-year record. We need to double check why did this happen, right? So the AI is the one that flagged the video, obviously, that just checks for bad videos, which I'm glad they have it. So AI can be very good, and it can also be a very big problem, right? So in this video, that's what we're tackling. So to continue in the story, basically after that happened, I sent that appeal in, and then literally within less than a minute and a half, right, it sent back rejected instantly. And I was like, wow, that was a fast rejection, right? I'm like, that's crazy. I guess it was automatic, right? They reassured me when I talked to real people later in the story here that that was not automatic, that it was a real person that reviewed it. I gonna have to beg to differ on that because I don't think anyone in a realistic way could review something in less than 60 seconds and send it back, like, because it was a 14-minute video, and also read what I said and stuff. So I think it was automated, honestly. And again, I like automation in life right now because it makes things a little faster, right? It makes things a little better. There's a lot of things that are positive about automation, but it'd be really nice if I could, you could talk to the people that are doing the appeals with an email or a typing or, even a call center if something really bad happens and they need to get communication with their creators. I understand there's a lot. I understand there's a lot of stuff they have to cover, but it's a really big company. It'd be really nice if they could reach out and help someone, especially someone who's always been really good on the platform and never done anything wrong in the past, right? So again, I didn't do anything wrong in this case. It was falsely done, pretty much. I'm sorry, I'm gonna have to, that's my side of the argument. But again, it doesn't affect the channel directly. So the YouTube people, so after that, I then contacted someone on the Google support, and they were extremely nice, I'd like to point out. They were very, very nice, but there was really nothing they could do, okay? They're like, oh, well, you already appealed it. You can only appeal things once. And I'm like, yes, but nobody really looked at it because 60 seconds of an appeal is literally impossible for a human to literally look over a 14-minute video in 60 seconds, right? It's an impossibility. And they were like, well, we assure you that it was a real person that looked at it. And I'm like, okay, all right. Of course, at this point, I'm a little bit frustrated, right? I was very polite, very kind. And again, she was very nice back to me. Amelia, I forget what her name was. This is just typing. This is a live chat. So I said, okay. So I'm like, is there anyone that can fix this or look at this for me? Because I really don't think this was a correct either way. I don't think the appeal was correct, that was rejected. And I also don't think the original tagging from the AI system was correct, right? And so she's like, no, I really can't do anything, blah, blah, blah. And I was like, okay, well, and I was really nice to her, but I was a little bit upset, obviously, with rightfully so. She reassured me that it would not affect my channel, this warning. So now we're going to pause the story for a second, and I have to give you this little bit of information. So basically, they're in the community guidelines, if you do anything on a YouTube channel wrong, there's a few steps they take. The first thing they do is they give you a warning. This warning is a courtesy thing. It literally says in the guidelines, we do this because a lot of times people don't realize that something was breaking the guidelines. So we give a one-time warning. I'm like, well, that's really nice. I appreciate it that YouTube did that, honestly. But there's something about that warning that YouTube has kind of overlooked. It leaves a warning community guideline violation banner thing on your creative studio forever. Okay? So mind you, the worst punishment, not the warning. So let's say you already got a warning in your channel and you did something wrong. Again, I've never really done anything wrong on my channel. And in this case, I didn't do something wrong either, in my opinion. But if they strike your channel for something, what happens is you get blocked for a week, normally, is what they told me. And what the guideline thing said, their article. And then after a week, you can use your channel again, and everything goes back to normal. And then basically, after 3 months, that strike gets erased from the history of your channel. Okay, if you did nothing else bad. And I guess if you do 3 strikes in those 3 months, then they'll like terminate the channel, right? That's how it works, which I think is fair. But here's what is a little bit weird about the overlook on the courtesy warning, okay? So again, the warning does not affect the channel in any way, which is great. Again, I'm not going anywhere, everyone. But what happens is that stays there forever, and you kind of lose your extra heart in case there's a problem. Heart being like a health bar. You know how in video games there's like little hearts for how many times you could get killed and you get a revive or a get out of jail free card? I kind of just lose that for a reason that's literally wrong, okay, by the AI. So it's a literally wrong reason to lose that. And now if the AI ever makes a mistake on my channel again, I'm going to have to deal with something else, right? Which can be a little nerve-wracking. But again, I'm going to be really careful now what I post in that area, because obviously the AI can't distinguish something that is right versus something that actually goes against the guidelines. But that's how it goes. And the appeal should have probably fixed that. And that's why I really would love it if YouTube, if you see this, if you'd reach out to me and actually fix that problem. So anyway, the next step in the story, let's go back to the story here, is I'm going to try to finish this video really quick for you guys who are actually going to listen to the whole thing. Thank you so much for listening. I think it's important for other creators too to know this stuff, what I learned. So then, basically, after that, I talked to that first person that evening. I went to bed, woke up the next day. Then I messaged the same thing, another person to talk about it again. And at that point, that person, what I did is I did some stuff and I went ahead and just removed that video off the channel because I assumed, oh, well, they probably just want me to remove it. So I removed it off the channel. Don't do that. Okay. I'll tell you things I learned. I'll say that at the end, more details, but don't remove the appealed video. Okay. I'll say that right now. So then I talked to a second person the next day and I talked to them again. It was on a chat thing and stuff. There was a lot of pre-recorded answers they gave on things, and I know that there's someone probably sitting there if it is a real person and they're clicking certain things, and then when they need to actually type, they'll type, because there were some things that seemed very realistic. But it did make me feel a little bit like I would have liked to talk to someone over the phone or a real person. That would have made me feel more heard, because I didn't really feel very heard by YouTube. Okay, as a content creator, I felt like I was had no outlet. I had no way to get my voice heard. The appeal obviously wasn't looked at. No one can look at it in 60 seconds. So it made me feel very hurt. And I think at that point when I talked to these people, so that was the second person I was talking with. When I talked to these people, it seemed like to me that they kind of didn't have the power to reverse any of the policies or the automated system. That's what it seemed like. Like the automated system AI had more power than the actual helping staff at Google. Okay, that's what it kind of felt like and seemed like. And again, they were really nice. I'd like to point out YouTube staff were actually extremely nice. It just, they couldn't do anything for me. It was kind of like, okay, well, especially when I was being so nice about it. I was like, I'm really kind of upset about this, guys. I'd really love it if someone could talk to me, and fix this. But they're like, well, we just can't do it. And the second person, and now, so again, remember, I removed the video. So that person was now saying that we can't appeal it a second time when she was looking at it. Okay. So I was like, okay, all right, I understand. Well, thank you so much for talking to me, that kind of thing. So then I was like, well, and she reassured me again, they will not affect your channel. Don't worry about it. So I have a feeling, this is my gut feeling, that they kind of knew that the AI did something wrong here and the appeal probably wasn't done right. I was telling them, I felt like the AI didn't look at it long enough. I mean, the appeal. They told me that they reassured me the real person looked at it. Like I said already, the second person said that too. I do not think that is correct, because I don't, or someone just didn't do it right who did the appeal. They didn't actually look at the appeal. They just said no without actually looking at any of the information, which shouldn't be. But that's what I felt like, at least. So YouTube, if that is wrong, you're welcome to tell me and actually try to fix the problem, because I'm going to explain now in this video in a second why it was I was actually in the right and this is wrong what the AI did. So now after that point, I talked with them for a while, and then I was like, whatever. She assured me it wouldn't affect the channel. Kind of a bummer. I lost my free get out of jail free card for a false reason, but with the warning they put on the channel. And I was really upset with the fact that it was so overlooked that the warning stays on your channel banner. It should go away after 3 months as well, just like the strike would, which is an actual punishment, right, on a YouTube channel. So then I was kind of bummed that day. I was like, whatever, that's how it goes. I had a lot of encouraging comments from my subscribers and from my other friends on YouTube that were just like, this happens, just don't worry about it. I was like, yeah, you're right. Even though it's hard to be accused of something falsely, and then they're like, well, it won't affect your channel, don't worry. And it's like, well, it's kind of annoying because, it's like I want to make sure you guys know that I really didn't do something wrong here, okay? I have no doubt in my mind now that I've looked into it even more. So long story short with that is that the rest of it is that then that day went by. I then talked to someone on Twitter, hashtag team Twitter. They were very nice. I said thank you at the end, but they also could not do anything. Just like the people on the computer on the chat, they weren't able to do anything about it. And then he said, I think it was, I don't know, he or she who was there. He made the comment then, well, now we can't appeal it because you deleted the video. And I'm like, oh my gosh. And by the way, YouTube, if you still want to help me with this, I have the hard copy and I also have it on another social media platform, the exact same video. So if you want to actually help me out with that, be a wonderful blessing. Again, I know it doesn't affect my channel, but it would just be nice to have that wrong righted. Okay. So then I talked to that person for a while. That was their reasoning. They said they were going to look at it, but I kind of have a feeling that person did not have the power to repeal it if it already had been appealed to. Okay, if you know what those words all mean. So I don't think it really mattered whether I deleted it or not. I don't think they were going to be able to do it anyway, because what I was finding is it looks like the automated system has more power than the actual workers at Google support, which is kind of rough. And that's why I think it'd be really neat if they had a place that could help you with that. Okay. So now with all of that out of the way, so the story, why was it wrong what they did? How do I prove this right now? Okay. So this is really important. All right. So let me bring up an article here real quick on it on Wiki. All right. Right here. This one, I'm going to shrink it just a little bit here so I'm not quite as blocked. And then let's bring this up a little bigger here. And what I want to show you here, this is the Battle for Middle-earth. This is the video that I had made that helps you be able to find where you can get the game now, because it's almost a 20-year-old game now. It's been shut down for like 13 years and no longer supported or sold. And the original creators do not have a license anymore for the Lord of the Rings, which is the reason why they shut it down and can't sell it anymore. So again, why did YouTube Autobot do this and put a guideline strike? I believe the bot thought I was doing piracy. And I would just like to point out that I am totally against piracy, okay? Completely 100% against that. I do not like it. If there's ever an option to get something cheaper like that or something, I always go and buy the original price thing, whether it be on iTunes with music or videos, or I go to the movies. I never go around things, because I feel like it's disrespectful to the people who created the game, and it's unhonorable, and it's illegal. So don't do it, people. Okay. So, but this is why what I did was not. Okay. So let me just explain this. And this is what the appeal people did not look at. Okay. Clearly did not look at this. All right. Because this is common knowledge of this game. If you know about this, some of my subscribers, you made that nice comment to me that it's common knowledge that this game has been gone for years. Okay. So this is the video and the game in question right here. The Battle for Middle-earth, okay? And again, they don't have anything against me playing this game on the channel. They just had, the bot thought at me showing how to download it from the internet was piracy, okay? Now, and let's just get, for argument's sake, right out of the window, okay? Out of the gate. If, for some reason, YouTube still has a thing against that, for one, the internet is designed for information and downloads, that's what it's for, but I understand they also want to protect against piracy. But the AI did not understand the fact that I'm pretty sure it meant that's what it was talking about. They didn't actually give me the information. The communication was not there from YouTube. They didn't say what it was for. They just gave me the generic article that it was under these guidelines that has literally hundreds of things in it. And the top things that were in the guidelines that should have been in my video to be wrong was a few words I'm going to have to say here: sexuality, nudity, violence, spam, harassment. And again, you can look that up in their terms of service video. I can link that in the description if you want to look at it for yourself, but we're not going to do that right now because it's just so much information. But I read through all of it, and it was not there, and I had to go into their online site and look at the really fine details to find where there was a paragraph about piracy too. So it didn't even tell me in the warning that this was directly meant to be for this part of the subject. It just said generically all, 100 things that they're against in their terms of service. Okay. So, but I want to show how it's not. Okay. I'm going to show why it's not right now. If you go here to game, if you go down to, wait, where is it? I think I'm hovering it already. Here we go. So the Lord of the Rings, the Battle for Middle-earth, was made in 2004. Okay, so it's almost 20 years old this time. It's almost 2024. We're close. The real-time strategy game developed by EA, Windows, you get this, you can read all this. And then here's what's important. Here's what it kind of proves my point right here. The official game servers for the Battle for Middle-earth were permanently closed on December 31st, 2010. This is almost 14 years ago at the point of me making this video, okay? Due to the expiration of the Lord of the Rings video game license. However, the players can still play it online using unofficial game servers, which is okay because the official servers are gonzo. So that's why they're letting you know here, okay? And the game being sold was ended back in 2010 because they didn't have the license for it anymore, okay? So at this point, you cannot get the game in any other way besides downloading it, and the modders, right? The modding community, which again, my video was about where you could find it, and also how the people who modded it, who do extra work, which is separate, not even from the original game company, have updated things on it to make it playable for new computers. Because the game is so old, it doesn't play on new computers very good. Because the pixels, it doesn't even have 1080 version of the original game, okay, which is the resolution. So again, this right here proves the point that you can't get it anywhere else, okay? So that kind of proves my point right there. So, yeah. This is what the appeal person should have looked at and realized. And now on another... Okay, so not that... This proves my point, okay, pretty clearly here. Everyone, this is common knowledge. They probably should have looked at this. But again, it wasn't looked into at all. And that's why I felt so frustrated about it a little bit. Because it felt like... and I think, okay, it felt like to me that the people who did the stuff that were talking to me later, those other people that were real people I was typing with, it seemed like to me that they kind of realized, like I said a minute ago, that the AI did something wrong, but they didn't really have the power to fix it. And they also felt like, well, it doesn't really affect your channel, so let's just let it go kind of thing. But it's annoying to be accused of something that you didn't do, right? And that I do not support, right? I don't support anything like pirating anything. But again, it's not piracy if the game is no longer licensed by the original company and there's no way to get the game or buy it anymore, okay? So at this point, the only way to get it is to get it through the, as this article said, the community online, right? So there. That's the bottom line there. So again, if YouTube wants to reach out and fix this wrong, I'd appreciate that greatly. If not, I understand that you guys are like, it doesn't really matter. It doesn't affect your channel with a warning, but it is kind of hard to have that warning messed up. I would recommend though. So let's move on to my last point here. Recommendations for YouTube. Okay. Here's my recommendations. And I would also like to point out, here's another article. I will link these in the description. This one's also good. Can I zoom in for you here? I guess it won't zoom in. But here's a more information. I will link those in the description for you so you guys can see them. So here's my recommendations to YouTube. Okay. My recommendations are: 1, when it comes to when you're going to look at a channel that gets something that pops up in your AI thing saying, you know, we think this is against community guidelines, I highly recommend that you put a step in where you send an email or something before you even do the warning. Okay. I think you should try to communicate with the person when it's something so simple and maybe convoluted like this too, that your AI thinks it's something wrong. Now, again, I completely understand still taking the video down, right? Like taking it down temporarily and then sending an email, right? Because maybe it's bad, something bad in the video. Obviously mine's not, but I understand that. But I think what you guys need to do is personally what I would see, and I know this is from a lot of other creators I've heard too. I know I'm a smaller channel right now, but YouTube, if you still respect and listen to what I have to say, I greatly respect you for listening. But I think you should send a message. Give 1 week, take it down, give 1 week, give an email and say, hey, did you know we think this is against our community guidelines? We're going to have to give you the warning or the strike, depending on what happens, right? But we see your record has been wonderful and you've never done anything for years. So we think that you might have made a mistake here, or, send a direct message to talk to this person on the email. Now, I think that would be a wonderful thing to do. That's 1 recommendation. 2 recommendation, I highly recommend that you, when it comes to the warning thing, I think that's wonderful that you guys give 1 warning before doing a strike, especially because it gives a buffer to be able to talk and stuff. But I highly recommend if you give that warning and you do a reject and appeal about it, I think that you should make it where the warning banner does not last for life on a channel. It's almost a worse punishment than an actual strike with being frustrated that you're seeing it all the time, okay? Again, I'm not that worried about it, honestly. But, and I do appreciate it that you made the point, YouTube, to say that it will not affect my channel. So thank you for that. But it should not stay on your channel forever with the banner. It should just stay there a week or something and then go away. Because that's weird to me. Because if your next level strike, it goes away after 90 days. So what I'd recommend is making the banner warning for a channel go away after 90 days, just like a strike would, or a week or a month or whatever you want to do, right? I would highly recommend that. I don't know if you can reactively do that for people. If you change that policy later, that's up to you, but I recommend that. The next recommendation I have is for when it comes to the stuff, when it comes to the appeal, I really think the appeal should not be sent back in less than 60 seconds. I think that just so you make sure people don't think it's an AI doing it, or just someone not checking what you actually said. I think that there should really be someone that looks at it, and it should be at least sent back as, you know, a little longer than the actual video time. And I'm not saying just, you know, wait the time out. You do it to 60 seconds anyway, wait the time out, then send it back. I think that someone should really look at it for the whole time of the video, whatever the time of the video is, that they really look through the whole video, right? Or at least skip through, right, a little bit, and check some spots. So because 60 seconds is an impossibility to even check almost anything in the video when it's a 14-minute video. So that's another recommendation I have for the appeal stuff. I think that also that you should have a team that would actually be able to communicate with email or even a phone call and talk to someone. I know that you probably don't want to have people being angry at you and stuff, because I'm sure some people really do wrong things on YouTube and then get angry about it. I obviously am innocent here, but still feel a little bit wrong that this happened to me, but I get it. And I know your customer service were very nice, but they had no power to do anything. The AI had more power than the actual workers there. So you should have a section and group of people that can talk to people with appeals. I really think that's another recommendation there. I also do think when it comes to stuff, I think your system should hang on to it in case someone does delete it, thinking that you wanted them to delete it, because that's what I thought with the video, just so you can have the ability to see what it was still. I know legally when someone deletes something, they delete something, but if you ban something, it does say in your guidelines that you can even penalize someone for a video after they delete it, which means to me that you can see the video after someone deletes it. So it's weird to me that you can't see one that you already banned. Does that make sense? I think that makes sense. So you should still be able to go back and do it. I still think when the person that was saying that was just trying to be kind of nice and try to like, oh, it's okay, you know, don't worry about it kind of thing on Twitter, because I do feel that you're able to see that, especially from what your guidelines say about that. So you should still be able to see the video after it's been removed to appeal it or help the person. And again, if someone doesn't reach out and help me from YouTube, I have the video still. I have it on their platform. I know you'd have to be trusting me. I get that. You can't trust everyone, but I have such a good record on my channel. I feel like that should have some merit to help with that. Okay. So that's some recommendations I have for YouTube. I really love the platform, you guys. You make it really easy for creators. I like a lot of the automated stuff. You obviously you work hard and think about this, but I think when it comes to customer service, you may want to put a little bit more into that, because I understand the AI stuff helps make things go quick and stuff normally, but in this case, the appeal process did not help me at all, and it obviously wasn't looked at. So it's a little bit discouraging, but again, I know all the customer service, assured me this will not affect my channel in any way, besides the fact that little banner's there. And that's how it goes. And thank you again to some of my subscribers for talking about this stuff too. So last thing, what I learned to finish up here. Okay. What I learned is, for one, if you get this happen on your channel, I highly recommend do not do the appeal immediately. Don't do it on your phone. Make sure you do it on the computer. For my other YouTubers that are watching this, or content creators, make sure that I would greatly message, Twitter, on Twitter, or now it's called X, right? X.com or whatever it's called now. Just got the name changed to the time of this video. I would talk hashtag Team YouTube. Talk to them, say, hey, this is what happened ahead of time. Let them look at it a little bit before you just appeal it, because sometimes the appeal works and sometimes it doesn't. Sometimes it just gets immediately 60 seconds and then it locks you out of doing anything. And if even they lock you out, do not delete the video. Okay, don't delete the video. I'm a little bit frustrated still that it seemed like they wanted me to delete it, so I deleted it, and then basically learned the hard way that they're then using that as a reason that they can't even check to appeal it, even though they told me I couldn't appeal it again. And there was a little bit of a contradiction between the second person I talked to and the third person on Twitter, because the third person said they could look at it again after the appeal, even they knew, and the second person said they could not look at it after it's been appealed once. So that was one of the reasons why it was removed, and it had already been removed for those last two people. So the first person said they could look at it, just couldn't because it had already been appealed, and the second person said they couldn't look at it, but they could appeal it if they could look at it. So it kind of felt like a hole in the bucket situation a little bit that was created on their end. So yeah, that's what I recommend to other YouTubers. Just make sure you don't do those few things, and be careful what you post, because the AI will mistake things like this. Okay, again, this game is no longer licensed by the original people. It should be completely legal for me to show people where they can find it, since it's no longer sold by anyone, or that's just how it goes, right? But again, I want to thank YouTube because I do like the platform, and majority of my time here has been very positive. This has just been hard. So the automated AI stuff, it went a little too far here, the automation, and even the people I talked to, I assume they were all real people, the last 3 people, but 1 or 2 of them did make a lot of similar comments. So I don't know if it was a person clicking generic replies or if it was an AI talking. I don't know. I'm assuming they were real people though, because they seemed very nice when I was talking to them. A couple of them were like, "Oh, we're so sorry," and they had like real conversation stuff. But again, it's typing. It'd be really nice if there was a way people could email or, talk to someone physically over the phone. I think it'd be really nice. And especially, you could tell them on the phone, right? If someone's freaking out at you, which I wasn't, I was so nice about this. If someone's freaking out at you, YouTube, you could just tell them, if you keep freaking out, we're not going to help you. Like, you just tell them that, right? But if it's a nice creator that's saying, "Hey, I've never done anything like this. What happened? Can you please help me and look at this?" Like I did. It'd be really nice if you could actually help out. That'd be wonderful. In that way, because it felt like the AI wronged me, and then no real person at YouTube could help me because the automated systems were almost more powerful than the actual people working there. That's what it felt like. So anyway, I think that pretty much proves my stuff. But when I saw this article right here on Wiki, I was like, because I already knew this stuff, and that it was fine, and this has been a common knowledge that this game is no longer sold or licensed. And it's so old, 14 years old since it got turned off. It was a little weird to me that this happened like that. So anyway, I covered it fully. Thank you if you watched the whole 30-minute video. Thank you to YouTube if you listen and if you reach out to me to fix that. Again, my channel is not hurt by it. I understand that, but it would be great justice to me as a content creator who's so always followed the guidelines on YouTube if you reached out to me and tried to just removed it for me. And I understand the video is not deleted from my thing, and the one person said, "Oh, we can't even remove the warning thing now because you deleted the video." But I know for a fact there are people in YouTube that would have the ability to fix that wrong situation, and especially since I had all those conversations, I'm sure all those recorded in typing and stuff like that. And I feel like you probably do have a backup of what was reported on the system. Again, I'm not calling anybody wrong, saying wrong things, but I can understand that some of the other Google assistants probably, because one of the Google people told me that I first want to talk to, they don't have the power to look into it farther. So obviously there are levels of who can look at what, right, in any company. So that's a side note, but you understand what I'm saying. Yeah. Well, thank you so much to my subscribers for listening. I want to, again, very respectful to YouTube about this. I understand you guys were very kind to point out the fact that, it's just a warning. It doesn't affect the channel. And, that's why they do that in case there's a misunderstanding. But they were trying to make it sound like for sure I did something wrong, because of course they were, that's what it is. But I didn't do something wrong. I just want all my subscribers to know that that was not the case. And, yeah. And thank you again to everybody who made nice comments, my subscribers. There's a lot of automation in YouTube now, and I think some of it is good, and I think maybe YouTube should look at some of the more extreme automation that doesn't really give content creators a real person to talk to and voice their opinions. That is no pun off my name as Voice of the Rings on my channel. But having a voice is very important. I think for any company, we see other social media companies that you can't voice your opinions, and they're also having troubles right now because of that. I think YouTube is on the better end of things with that. I think you do a good job on that, Google and YouTube. But I really do think that these are good things to think about, and maybe give some more. I think it's good, your guidelines and policies, but since the AI is the one that tagged it, I think that you should have a real person that can talk to people with appeals. I don't think it should just be an automated system that does the appeal. Now, I know you told me it was a real person that looked it over, but I really don't think in 60 seconds someone, if it was a real person, could honestly look over it. And even if, let's say, to finish up the video, even if this video was, let's say for argument's sake, even though I've already proved that I wasn't the right on this, even if, let's say, for some reason in your guidelines, that video still broke things, I think because my channel has always had such a good, perfect record and merit, I think a real person should be able to talk to me and go, oh, we see, oh, this game hasn't been licensed or out for a long time. Oh yeah, that's not piracy. Like that's the only way you can get it now. Or if they do say, well, yeah, we still consider that not okay, that real person could talk to me and say, here's the thing. We understand. We like it if you take that video down. We'll remove that warning, and we just don't do it again. that kind of thing, and you're good. You know, that would have been so simple with someone talking to me for 2 minutes. It would have been an easy fix. But instead, I was stressed out for a whole day trying to talk to all these people and see, because there was no one I could communicate with. There was no outreach. There was no way I could do my voice. There was no way I could reach out to anyone because it was all automated, right? And the few people that were real that I talked to had no power to fix anything, right? Or even check with how the appeal people did stuff. All right? Yeah. So anyway, and again, I don't really feel like the appeal was a real person if it was only 60 seconds, or it was someone who just kind of bypassed it and didn't really look at what I said or look at the videos. So that's kind of also made me feel like my voice wasn't heard at all. So it just was a little bit, it was a little bit disheartening. But again, I do love the platform. I don't plan on going anywhere, and I will still be here, my friends. Thank you so much, everyone, for your continued support of the channel. We will keep doing Lord of the Rings content. Feel free to check out any of my social medias. I do have a secondary channel you can also check down there called Zollin Ironshield. I'd love it if you subscribe to that too. Join our Discord. That's another good way to always get updated videos and always be here in case the AI ever does something and we have a temporary where we're like, where's Zollin? You'll have backups to know where I am. I also have my other social medias, Facebook, Rumble, the new Twitter, which is X. I got to re-update that name. Those are all down there. Check them all out. Thank you again for all of your support, my friends, and I will see you guys all in the next episode. It's the Voice of the Rings. And again, thank you, YouTube, for listening. If you did listen to this too, I appreciate it. And again, I do have lots of respect for how YouTube does things too, but this automated stuff was really a little bit hard because I felt like I didn't have a voice. So again, if YouTube wants to just right the wrong, I will make an updated video if YouTube reaches out to me and removes that, you know, warning just to be kind and say, you know, we watched your video, you made some really good points. We'll just remove it. Like, that'd be amazing. If not, I understand, and I know that you pointed out, YouTube, it doesn't affect my channel in any way physically, like affect anything. So that's nice, and I appreciate that too. So again, my subscribers, thank you for listening. If you watch this whole video, I'm very impressed. But to any other content creators out there too, remember what I learned. Those things I told you, those are really, really important. Don't delete the video that they do that too, and tell you for sure that they're not gonna be able to fix it or something or whatever, or if they directly tell you. But it sounded like the one person wanted me to delete it, so I got some mixed messages. Not a really great communication there because of all the automation happening. But yeah, those are the things. And have a great and wonderful day in Middle Earth. And I am glad, though, that video still helped a lot of people. So the other one that the system automatically AI detected, again, you can check that out on the Rumble page as well. But I removed all the other, you know, I removed it just so I can be respectful to YouTube for that. Even if I think it did not fall under the guideline thing. But even if it did, I think they should have looked at my channel's background and seen that I'm a pretty honorable at following the guidelines, that I would have never dreamed of breaking the guidelines, YouTube, if I thought I was doing that. So yes, you know, it'd be nice if you guys checked the background and merit of a channel too. Obviously it was just automated, so it didn't even check if like, oh, this person's been great for years. And they're like, it just saw it and was like, you know, mark. So anyway, have a great day. I think I talked enough on this. Baruch Hazad Kuzad menu. I will see you guys all in the next episodes of Voice of the Rings. Thank you for everyone for listening. I just wanted to make sure you all knew these details. And we got lots more Lord of the Rings content coming out. I'll see you in the next videos, my friends. Stay happy.